Good evening. Welcome to the Lessons of Vietnam. I am Bill Dixon, President of North Carolina Vietnam Veterans, along with my co-host tonight, Bob Matthews. Bob Matthews, to kind of give you a little bit of background, 40 years in education. He was past Veteran of the Year, been the President of North Carolina Vietnam Veterans, and also directed the Bridge Back program. And tonight we're going to be talking again about the POWMIA issue. We've got a special guest tonight, Monica Cash. We're going to get into what all the things that Monica's involved with as far as veterans issues and the POW issues in just a moment. You know, we're talking about POWMIAs as sometimes I see children calling it the POWMIA sticker. And there's a difference between a POW and MIA. POW is someone that we know is a prisoner, and the MIA is someone we don't know what their status is. You can be a POW and be an MIA, and you can be an MIA and not be a POW. So we're talking a little bit about both tonight and the last show, and we've got a special show coming up next time we're on the Air Force that I think you'll really be interested in. I'm going to have Bob tell you about it. Now I'm going to start with Monica Cash. And Monica, you are involved with lots of different issues, veterans. You are involved. You and your husband both are veterans, I understand.
Yes, I'm a Navy veteran, and Curtis is Air Force veteran. A
Navy and Air Force veteran. Okay. That's a kind of a strange match there. And let's see, both of you worked as telling pilots where to go, didn't you? Or still do?
Yes.
Curtis does anyway.
Until Friday.
Okay.
Until Friday.
And, okay, go ahead.
So we were both military air traffic controllers, and were able to turn it into civilian careers. Did that for many years. And as I came into retirement, I got more interested in the American Legion and Veterans Affairs, and joined a group called Rolling Thunder, Inc. Mm-hmm. And they advocate for the POWMIA movement. And this really started me on my journey for that. And it has become a passion. I work on it constantly. I am really trying to work hard for our current prisoner of war, Army Sergeant Bergdahl, who is now a POW in Afghanistan, mm-hmm. held by the Haqqani Network.
What is your position with the American Legion?
I am the POWMIA chairman for American Legion North Carolina, and it was recently moved under the American Legion Riders because the Riders do so much to keep the advocacy alive. And
you're a member of the American Legion Riders?
Yes.
You're an associate member of North Carolina Vietnam Veterans Incorporated?
Yes.
You are also involved with the Ride Home, where you take prisoners back, former prisoners of war, to the Andersonville, where the National POW Museum is located?
Yes, we do this every year, the third weekend in September. That is National POWMIA Weekend. It's a weekend of honor and reflection. We invite up to 200 former American prisoners of war and a family member to come to Andersonville for an honors weekend. We have different ceremonies to thank them for what they've done for us, for our freedom. It's quite a unique weekend. If you ever have the opportunity to come, it's open to everyone to come and honor these fine men and women. This past year, in 2013, we honored the female POW, and we had female POWs from World War II up to Shoshana Johnson from the Iraqi War.
Okay. There was no military POWs in Vietnam. I think there was some civilian women POWs for a while.
We did not have a female from the Vietnam era at the event.
Mm-hmm. And you're also involved with, I know you collect furniture and take it down to Fort Bragg, and just give us a whole list of all the different organizations and the things you do. Kind of.
Well, there is, a lot of people don't know, at Fort Bragg, there is a facility there called the Airborne Attic. And E1 through E4 soldier families can come and get help for free in the and it's usually furniture, any kitchen appliances, things like that. And I started doing this with a good friend, helping him out to take the furniture and the clothing and things down there. And it has become a passion for me that these kids are eligible for food stamps. That's how little they make. And so they need any help possible. So what I really do through My American Legion, though, is we try to give them new things as much as possible. We'll hold different, just go in front of Walmart or a local store, give people a 3x5 list of what is in 3x5 card telling what we need to take down there. And just before Christmas, we took down living room furniture and Rolling Thunder Chapter 7 out of Franklinton. They had done a drive for food and paper products, and they gave a lot of this to the Fisher House, and then, to the Airborne Attic. Then we went to the Fisher House and dropped off gift cards for the wounded soldiers and more of the food and paper products. And then the bulk of it all went over to the Warrior Transition Center, which is where the wounded warriors are at Fort Bragg, over 500 of them. We did a Christmas party there and had hand-knitted hats for the children and toys and crayons and things and gift cards to give them. We don't give to the Wounded Warrior Project. We don't want to send our money where there's an overhead. We send it. We take the gift cards directly to Fort Bragg. They're given out based on need, and every penny goes to the wounded soldier. I'm also the Deputy Volunteer Service Officer for the VA Hospital at Durham Regional Hospital.
Well, that's, if you'd like more information, or if you would like to, help with some of these things that Monica's working with, just go to the North Carolina Vietnam Veterans website, which is ncvvi.org, and send us the information, and we'll be sure to get it to Monica so that she can touch base with you. All these projects she's working on only works if people like you out there make it work. The money, the time, whatever you can give, whether it's money or effort. Monica's got some bracelets here that she gives out, stickers for Bo, and all that sort of stuff, needs bodies and so forth and help. And we've got a call, and we're going to take this call and see what they have to say. Go ahead, caller. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, this is Gus Dante from New Jersey, a dear friend of Monica Cash.
Hi, Gus.
How you doing, dear?
Just fine. Gus is an incredible advocate for the POWMIA movement.
Well, I just want to say one thing about you. Monica Cash is one of the most advocate of the POW issue, period, whether it's from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and this young man, Bo Bergdahl. Monica's been out front, and she is still doing her thing and promoting to get the unaccountability of all POWs. And now we're working on Bo Bergdahl, just like the Vietnam War all over again. That's what it seems like to me.
Well, Gus, go ahead. I'm sorry.
She's doing a hell of a job. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on the radio.
You can say what you want to.
Monica knows how I am. But I just wanted to join her because she does incredible work. No matter what organization she's in, she's right out front doing it. Her husband, and all the people, former Rolling Thunder members, PBA, Legion Riders, so forth and so on. And it's in my own territory there, Fort Bragg. That's where I was stationed many years ago.
Thanks for calling, Gus.
I appreciate it very much. Good luck. You sound real good, and you're doing a heck of a job.
Let's bring Bo home.
Yeah, definitely. Got to bring him home.
Gus, appreciate you calling in. If you'd like to talk about the POWs from other wars, you can go right ahead. I've never met you, but I feel like I know you because we're friends on Facebook, and I enjoy reading your postings and so forth. And Monica does work very hard on the POW issue here. Don't know whether you know it or not, but our organization for the last 26 years has met at the North Carolina State Capitol the first Saturday every month, and we read the names of North Carolinians still unaccounted for from the Vietnam War. We started out with 65 names, and now there's 41 names. And Monica and Curtis are usually there with Rolling Thunder and American Legion Riders, all supporting keeping the word out there about POWs.
You're absolutely right. And yes, I do know about you. Wouldn't it be marvelous if all us veteran organizations be one? We could really pull a lot of weight down there in D.C. I'm just reading an article here in a local paper where veterans insulted by the federal budget chaos. Carl Azzoni, he's a Vietnam or Korea, I'm not sure, but he's a service officer at our local VA hospital. He read the article in our local paper, and it just makes you sick when you read the story. But that's what we got to look out for. And you have people like Monica. I won't keep you. I have to do some other work. But I just want to tell you, Monica, you're doing a great job, and you sound beautiful, young lady. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And yes, we got to bring Bo Bergdahl home, and I'll be down here in Washington, hopefully, come Memorial Day weekend with you, Monica, and everyone. Maybe somebody will hear us. Maybe we can get somebody to really speak up for this young man.
Great.
Thank you very much. You have a great night, and good luck to you guys. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Gus.
Something that he just mentioned, Gus mentioned, that I'd like to bring up, and I don't want to forget about it tonight. We have a group, we call ourselves BOS Army. It was started probably about 5 years ago by a young activist, Kim Holder, who became friends with Janny Bergdahl, Bo's son. And she coined the phrase BOS Army, and that's what we call ourselves, those of us who advocate for Bo. Last year, BOS Army had its first gathering Memorial Weekend in front of the Lincoln Memorial on the Saturday before the demonstration ride. And this year, again, it's May 24th at 9 a.m. BOS Army is going to gather again in front of the Lincoln Memorial. It's going to be great. We all get to see each other. We're all friends on Facebook and through email, and it's nice to finally get together. We'll be passing out information about Bo Bergdahl and bracelets and stickers. And then at 10 o'clock, we're going down to the Vietnam Wall, where Nathan Henry, who is from Franklin, North Carolina, and was an enlisted POW for 6 years, will be laying a wreath at the Vietnam Wall for his, I think it's the 1st to the 12th was his division in Vietnam. And so we'll be doing that for him.
And that's open for anybody to go that wants to.
Yes.
You don't have to be part of any organization. If you're going to be in the D.C. area or just want to make the trip, it'll be a great opportunity to get involved with a great cause and with some great people. The people who keep that issue and work hard, take their time and their money, sometimes with not a whole lot of help to keep the issue alive. It's they need you to come in and join them.
May 24th at 9 a.m.
All right, sorry, Gus.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. And I had the privilege of speaking with Monica, not this past year, but the year before, down at the ride home, and to speak to ex-POWs from Korea, World War II, Vietnam. And this, I'll tell you, I'll be there, Monica, for that. I'll make sure you're over there by 10 o'clock. With my big mouth, I'll get everybody over there.
That sounds great. Nathan deserves it. He's a great man.
Yeah. And it was an honor to meet him and Freeman and a whole bunch of the other guys, Farrakhan from Vietnam, and stories that people want to learn about. Talk to the ex-POWs if you ever get the opportunity. That's where you learn the true stories of what went on there, and God bless these guys, how they survived all the tragic stuff that they went through. With that, Happy New Year and good luck with your radio station. And Monica, good luck, and I'll talk to you along the way, honey.
Thank you. Goodbye, Gus.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we're looking forward to our next show, Monica, where we're going to have a true hero, a POW who spent a few years at Hanoi Hilton, was also at Song Tay. He told us some things about Song Tay we didn't know about.
Right.
We want to get into all your work with Bo pretty soon, but I want to talk first a bit about the ride home. You've had an opportunity to meet a lot of these POWs, and to me, these people have gone through so much mentally and physically, but the ones I have met have such, they seem to really appreciate life, and they've just have taken that adversity and just done great things with it. What have you found kind of works around all POWs when you meet them and so forth? Tell us a little bit about, in general, the POWs you've met and worked with and their attitude.
At the ride home, we have most of the POWs are separate. We separate them by their wars and the hotels that they're in. And I usually host the Quality Inn Hotel, and that's in Americus, Georgia. And I started out with the World War II POWs, but now it hosts the Korean POWs. These men are incredible. How they got over the fact that they were not even considered a war, just an aggression, but that didn't stop them from being held as prisoners of war and the torture that they went through. A lot of the guys who still come from the Korean conflict were the incorrigibles, the 350 that were marched from South Korea to North Korea barefoot in the winter. 50 of them survived that march, and probably about 10 of them come to the ride home every year to listen to their stories. If they did something wrong, they were put barefoot on a frozen lake for hours at a time with their hands over their head and could not move. W.W. Smith, he worked in the infirmary, and he tried to take food to Father Capon. And I think Father Capon was a Catholic priest who's being recommended for sainthood now. He was held as a prisoner of war with the American soldiers. W.W. tried to take food to Father Capon the night that he died, and he was denied to give him food. It's incredible. Some of these men were tasked with, that had good memories, were tasked with being the name keepers. Whenever a POW passed, it was their job to remember that person's name and hometown so that when they got home, they could tell the families what happened to their loved ones. And initially, when they came home, they were told by their families, don't talk about it, forget about it, it's in the past, you shouldn't talk about it. This made their PTSD much worse. And many of them have told us that until the ride home, until these young people said thank you, they never thought that anyone cared. If the World War II guys will tell you, if you were out in public and you told someone that you had been a prisoner of war, they would call you a coward. They would call you names. They'd say, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you fight? Why did you let yourself be taken? And, as one of my friends who was in Stalag 17B said, I don't know. I'm in the air with a parachute coming down out of an airplane. I've been shot 3 times already. I have no weapon on me. And as I'm landing, the Germans are all around me with guns aimed at me. I don't know. Why didn't I fight? You need to talk to these people. You talk to all your veterans, but especially the POWs, their stories. That's history. That's American history that will go away if we don't document it somewhere. And they deserve to be honored every time. I don't care if the same POWs, former POWs come back every year to the ride home. That's fine, because I could never repay them for one day of their freedom that they gave for ours.
If you'd like to call in and talk with Monica or ask some questions or make comments, give us a call at 919-518-9773. Monica, there's one thing that these guys, y'all pay the way for them to come.
They pay their way to get there. Once they're there, we pay for their hotel, their meals, their transportation. They don't spend any money once they're there. And that also includes a family member.
Okay. So the ride home probably could use some money. If anybody just had any spare money they needed to get rid of, moldy, for tax breaks or whatever, they could also get in touch with you, or the Ride Home have a website? Or
yes, it's www.theridehome.com. The C3 paperwork has been applied for, and so we are working under the C3 umbrella at this time. And we're always looking for sponsorships for the upcoming year. We're already working on 2014. A sponsorship for a POW and family member is $350.
So they could, if they had an interest, they could sponsor a Korean War veteran, or they could sponsor a World War II veteran. They could kind of pick what they wanted, who they wanted to sponsor, or something like that.
You can send it in their honor. You could send it in their honor. It basically gets thrown into a pot just to pay for the hotel rooms and everything else. But you could, when you send in your sponsorship, you could put it in honor of a particular person. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So if you have a loved one that's has passed, or you lost in Korea, World War II, or Vietnam, or Afghanistan, or whatever, you'd like to honor them, the Ride Home could always use the money to honor these POWs. Up until Vietnam, the POWs were basically treated like they were cowards, and
yes.
Why didn't you fight, and so forth. And after Vietnam, there was it seemed to have changed a little bit, but still they're kind of looked at as different, I think, sometimes. And these are men who became prisoners not as a what they wanted to do. If you, like I said, we lost a lot of men who became prisoners, were shot down in their airplanes, and if that parachute coming down, almost every one of them had a broken leg, a broken arm, or something. And it's hard to fight when you're surrounded by a whole bunch of people that don't like you and don't like the idea that you've been bombing them or whatever. And they'll go through a whole lot. Does any particular POW that you think of now that has kind of really touched your heart from the Ride Home more than others, without sounding picking out anybody in particular, but somebody that stands out, we'll say?
Yes. I have a very, very dear friend, Dallas Mossman. He's a Korean POW. He was one of the incorrigibles, and he had really bad PTSD, and his wife was gone. And he said, Monica, nobody wants me to talk about it. Nobody wants to let me talk about it, and I have to talk about what I went through. And he just said, until we had you guys, we were there. They feel so. It's hard to put into words. They just feel so much better, and it is a calming effect for them, and almost like a therapy. But Dallas is so sweet. He rides on 86 years old, and he rides on the back of my motorcycle in the parade through town. Last year and this past year, the last 2 years. And I've been honored now to be invited to the Korean POW reunion last year and again this year, which will be the last year for the POW reunion. They all become very special to you. And I love them all. It's like having a bunch of uncles.
Well, you mentioned how much they wanted to... First of all, they appreciate somebody that actually recognizes them and appreciates them. But I run into Vietnam veterans all the time who say, well, I don't want to talk about it. And we have shown and proven that the very fact that you sit down and talk about it with some other veterans is probably one of the most healing things you can do. Going into classes that we do and talking to the high school students there, getting that story out, getting out that you've been buried down inside. Because when we came home, of course, most people know that you couldn't talk about you were a Vietnam vet. We all kept it bottled up inside us for a long time, which made the post-traumatic stress even worse. And for those of you who are not quite certain what post-traumatic stress is basically all the things that you went through, traumatic things that you went through that just kind of stays there and eats away at you a little bit every day, every minute, and different grades of it. And some people it's totally my southern tongue won't do that word.
Debilitated.
That's what I was saying. That's what I said. Just I couldn't get that. Yeah. And then some others it has a hard time with their family life, their jobs, and so forth. We used to call it. I think Patton called it shell shock when he in the movie where he slapped the guy because he was shell shock. It's a true problem. Has been a problem. World War II and World War I. One of the ways they'd solve the post-traumatic stress problems was giving those soldiers lobotomies. They discovered that using the ice pick in the eye and that special part of the brain did better than anything else. Fortunately, we have moved on a little bit from that and so forth. Now, Monica, I want to talk a little bit about the time I have left. That the one thing that you are probably most passionate about right now is Bo and bringing him home. Tell us a little bit about Bo, his family, and where he's at. What's going on with him?
Okay. Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl was in the Paktika province near Afghanistan, near the Pakistan border in Afghanistan, and there's a lot of controversy about his capture. But the WikiLeaks has given us the official Army interpretation of this. It was a hilltop. People say he left base. Well, what's a base? This kid was on top of a hill, with some dugout trenches for bedding and for protection. And to go to the bathroom, you had to go away from the bedding area. Okay, according to the official Army paperwork, Bo went to the bathroom. There were 35 men on this hilltop. The highest ranking one was a sergeant. They had been through a lot of trauma the week before. They had an MRAP that had broken down in town, and they were under fire for 3 days and stuck on that MRAP for 3 days and until they could get it repaired.
Okay,
and
what's an MRAP?
It's a type of, it's a vehicle, and that it's supposed to have the protection for IEDs underneath it. So this heavy-plated metal protection that protects the vehicle also makes the engine overheat, and they break down quite often. So these young soldiers had been through a lot of stress that past week, and they had lost a lot of their leadership over different reasons. And so Bo went to the bathroom. At the time, the Taliban knew that they wanted to capture someone because they wanted an American to trade for Aifa Siddiqui, who is a female doctor who was being tried in New York for war crimes. Bo was captured. Now, whether he trusted the two Afghani people that were working on the base, or whether he went to the bathroom and was captured, it's a little bit of a gray area. But he's gone. He's being held. We had the opportunity to buy him back. He was offered back to the United States for a sum of money within the first month. And the United States government said, we don't deal with terrorists. We don't do that. So he was sold to the Haqqani network, and we believe he is now being held in Pakistan. He was captured as a private. The POWMIA network refers to him as Private Bo Bergdahl because they go on your rank at time of capture. But he has been receiving his promotions and is now considered a sergeant in the eyes of the military. His mom and dad live in Haley, Idaho, where they have a wonderful support network. I think the entire town supports them and tries to help them, and they work constantly. Bob Bergdahl has a website that is bringboback.com, and he updates it some, and he also asks that you follow him on Twitter. He's probably more available that way. We need to bring Bo home. Hillary Clinton in 2012 designated the Haqqani as a terrorist group. So there goes our ability to negotiate with the Haqqani because now they are terrorists. We've asked President Clinton, isn't that a blast from the past? We have asked President Obama a few times, face-to-face, How is Bo Bergdahl? Patrick Hughes, who is a Rolling Thunder national photographer and is in Arlington, has had the opportunity to ask the president twice at close range, what is the status of Bo Bergdahl? The president tells us he's alive and he's well, but that's all that we have. I can't help but think that we know where he is. If we can send drones into Pakistan and take out terrorists in a house, we can't find Bo? Come on.
You know, when you mentioned that the group, they're part of Al-Qaeda?
They are not a part of Al-Qaeda. However, they are sympathetic toward Al-Qaeda. They are like, they're a different group, but yet they honor them.
Okay, so they fight the same battles Al-Qaeda is doing. They just got their own leadership and...
Yes.
Okay. Well, now, there's something about on Tuesdays. What happens on Tuesdays?
Bo Bergdahl was captured on a Tuesday. June 30th, 2009 was a Tuesday. So on Facebook, you have Bo Tuesday, and you'll see a lot of support for Bo. There'll be posts about him, everyone sharing posts. And when I talk about BOS Army, it is not a specific group. All you have to do is say, I'm going to advocate for Bo Bergdahl, and you are a member of BOS Army. We are everyone. There's no specific group or anything. It's just what us advocates, what we call ourselves. I have a page on Facebook. It's called 4 Years Too Long. It's a group. And I try to keep the information that we find out about Bo updated on that page. It's not much coming out now, so all we can do is try. But we have got to keep his name in front of the Senate, in front of the House, in front of the President, in front of the military, because you cannot let him be forgotten. Because once he's forgotten, then they feel no pressure to bring him home.
Now, they're holding him hostage for some, they'd like to have some of their people released. Is that? They have given us a list of 5 names of Al-Qaeda operatives that are being held at Guantanamo Bay that they want released for Bo. However, those negotiations fell through this summer in July because when Al-Qaeda set up a office in Qatar, the Afghan people had a problem with the flag that they flew outside their office. They felt that they were trying to be their own country instead of being part of Afghanistan. And so Karzai said that if we met with the Al-Qaeda group, that he would stop anything with America, that we would have to leave Afghanistan, which is what we need to do. We need to have left Afghanistan years ago. And if you talk to the former POWs, especially the Vietnam POWs, they will tell you they're not going to release Bo until we leave their country. They want us gone, and that's what we need to do. And you need to talk to your senators and you need to talk to your congressmen because the United States is trying to set up 5 permanent bases in Afghanistan after the drawdown. Keep our soldiers there. And that is just more fodder for Al-Qaeda because they will not respect our rules of engagement. You have some stickers and some bracelets. If you can hold up in front of the camera, close up so that...
Excuse me.
The camera right there. So, and those are available if you would go to the North Carolina Vietnam Veterans website. We'll see if we can help you get some of these available. Wear them. Go out and put stickers on everybody. And I'm going to give you a couple minutes to catch your breath a little bit.
That'd be great.
We're going to take... oh, you got a new guest. I'm sorry. Gus is back. Gus, go ahead. Gus?
Well, I'm just listening to Monica, and she's absolutely right. She's doing an excellent job explaining the whole situation on Bo Bergdahl. And she's right. We across the nation we have the awareness for Bo. Back on June 28th, we did something up here in New Jersey at the Trenton State House. It was orchestrated by John Astorian. That was with the Legion Riders and Rolling Thunder, Fair squaring up together to bring awareness. Everything Monica has mentioned to you, I just wanted to say something about, they released, after the drone strike in October, that's where it's getting a little hairy. Several Haqqani network terrorists were killed, and I think sources believe that's where they were keeping Bo in Pakistan. But, you know, it's all hearsay. You could go on. And I'd just like to say that they did release prison, I'm sure you guys are aware of, to Algeria, along with some cash, which is par for the course. And after that drone strike back in October, we had no problem sending $1.6 billion to that country who hates us, always ragging on us because we're wiping out the Al-Qaeda network and some of the Haqqani network. And by the way, Monica, I'm sure, is aware of this. Haqqani network is one of the most vicious terrorist organizations. They are the upper and the elite of the Al-Qaeda and Taliban forces. So that's another big problem we got to go. But that's all. I just wanted to say that. And you're doing an excellent job explaining the whole situation, Monica. I think you should be the speaker that day, the 24th, on the in front of the Lincoln Memorial. How's that?
Thank you, Gus. And Gus is right. The Haqqani network is the wealthiest network of terrorists in the world. They have holdings all over the world. Don't think that they're not in America, because they are.
If you'd also like to call in, again, the number is 919-518-9773, and make your comments or join Gus and Monica in discussion of Bo or the ride home or anything else you want to talk about at the POWs. And now we're going to take a moment to look at a little thing. It's probably going to be kind of long for you to catch. You can come back on the recorded session and read some of the information about the POWs and so forth. There's some good information there about another POW we've talked a little bit about, the Merquez situation with Joseph Hargrove. Joseph Hargrove is from North Carolina. He's still missing. He was one of the three Marines that they went, oops, we forgot them, and left them on the island, and a little information about them. So after the quick film you're going to see, Bob Matthews will be here to talk with Monica some more and give her a chance to catch a breath. As you can see, she's very passionate in what she believes in, and that's what it takes to get anything done. You can't get anything done by sitting back going, well, I wish I could have done that. I should have done that. Somebody's going to get out there and do it. So, Mr. Producer.
Right.
When you were searching for my name today, I saw you standing there. Man, you look different with that silver in your hair. Me, I haven't aged a bit, still all of 21. That's the thing about us spirits, we're forever young at the wall. Here at the wall, we were proud to serve our country when called by Uncle Sam. Then more than a little anxious when they shipped us off to Nam. Remember all the heat and bugs, days marching through the mud, constant gunfire, smell of death, sight of all that blood. Some gave all. The names carved in this wall, but it's a wall of love, a wall that heals, a wall that touches, helps you feel the faces of more than 50,000 names. Feel the wall be forever changed. When we finally got the orders saying we could go back home, they were looking for my body, so you made the trip alone. Came back to a country couldn't comprehend how so many boys that left returned as messed up men who served with all. The names here on the wall. It's a wall of love, a wall that heals, a wall that touches, helps you feel the faces of more than 50,000 names. Feel the wall be forever changed.
Welcome back to the Lessons of Vietnam. As Bill mentioned, my name is Bob Matthews, co-host of the show tonight, and I am very pleased to have as our guest Monica Cash, as you've seen the first half of the show tonight. And I wanted to mention to you, the slides that Bill Dixon's put together will be available on the internet in the archive for the entire show when you go back and look at it. A lot of great information
on the website, on NCVVI.
On ncvvi.org. Great information. Bill did a wonderful job. And one of the things I wanted to talk to Monica about, and obviously her passion for this issue, Monica, my first question to you, and I'm coming from as an ex-teacher, of course, and you know
Right.
all the work we put in when it was teaching Vietnam to America. This is the one area that we always had I kind of want to say, we weren't prepared enough. We didn't know enough about this issue. And it seemed to me, and maybe you can help me with this, that a lot of people were like us, didn't care about it, didn't know about it, and didn't want to know about it. So when you come to that kind of confrontation, how do you handle that in your work when you talk to people that say, well, that's a great thing you're doing, but you can see they don't really care?
Well, for me, it was Bo's 27. Bo
Yes.
Bergdahl is 27. My son's 25. What if it was my son?
Sure.
And I have people, and I tell them this. I say, what if he was your son? Would you want me to care? Would you want me to fight to bring your son home? And they go, oh.
Of course.
Because if it doesn't affect their personal little bubble, many Americans just don't care. And it's not just about the POW issue. It's life.
Yeah. Well, Monica, one of the things we talked about before in all the dealings we've done together is if people aren't involved and they're uninformed, you have to somehow get them, light a fuse a bit. And what you just said makes a lot of sense. Make it personal.
Right.
Use some analogies. And when Bill and I decided to do 3 or 4 or 5 shows on the POW issue, of course, we thought of you and your work, your advocacy for this issue, because it's something that is not a quick fix. And Americans, and this is not a criticism, all of us are like this, we want things done yesterday. We want things fixed quickly, quick answers. We don't want to deal with something for years and years and years. But sometimes it takes that.
It does. It does. And, I was preparing for tonight, and I have talked to a gentleman. His name is Bill Dumas. He's one of the original POWMIA activists. His brother, Roger Dumas, went missing in Korea. He was a POW. The POWs I've met from Korea knew him in camp. And he was within yards of the Freedom Village Bridge and was pulled back by the Koreans and never seen again. In 2007, a businessman who had a dual visa, he was American, but he had a visa for another country, was there buying leather goods in villages in Korea. And he drove by the mining district, and he said, why are there guards? Why are there armed guards at this mining camp? And his driver said, oh, that's where the Americans are.
Working.
And he said, the Americans? He says, yes, from the Korean War, the prisoners who were left behind, that's where they are. And he says, I need to go to the bathroom. And so he stopped and he paid them a couple of dollars, which was like a month's pay to one of these guys. And he got to go in, and almost immediately an American walked up to him, and he said, "My name is Roger Dumas. I'm an American. I want to go home. There are 10 of us here." And this American spoke to all of them. This is in 2007.
It's an amazing story.
And yes, and he came home and he tried to tell the government about it. And one of the things that Bill Dumas says often, Kissinger, even though he's no longer in power, wants no POW to come home alive.
Of course not.
And the American government, he said that every time that the Koreans try to give us back our POWs, the American government throws more money at them to keep them.
Well, Monica, Bill and I talked about this on the last show, and I asked Bill a question. I said, what would happen, Bill, if somebody would walk out of the jungles, like in the movie with Chris Christopherson, what he did? Of course, it was a movie. Walk out of the jungles, being probably 60 years old, being in Vietnam, living somehow for 40-some years. The country would lose a great deal of face, because a lot of men, including the commission with John Kerry, John McCain, and all the people back to Vietnam, and investigated and tried to normalize relations with Vietnam so we could get the POW answers. A lot of people were suspect about that. And, of course, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. People say, well, people that are doing this are trying to make money. They're trying to do this. And so what we've decided to do on the show, one of the lessons of Vietnam has always been to ask the very, very hard questions and do not look for the quick fix. Do research, ask questions, and follow your research and follow it and follow it and follow it. We've had some wonderful teachers go through here, and we really love you being on the show tonight. And I know you know our good friend Bill Schuette.
Yes.
Now,
Mr. Schuette's a wonderful man.
Yes, he is. Bill Schuette is a treasure.
Yes.
I've said this before. Bill Schuette right now lives in Apex and just moved to Cary, and he is a ex-POW. I guess that's the way you say it properly.
Yes.
Because he's no longer a POW, of course. But Bill Schuette has spoken some classes in Wake County schools, and Bill has consented to be our guest on our next show, which is 2 weeks from today. I believe it's the fourth Wednesday. I believe it's the 22nd of January. Bill is going to come on the show, and I want to tell the audience who's listening tonight, and all of our friends in Wake County, to please tune in.
Oh, yes.
Because when you get a chance, my good friends, to talk to someone who went through the hell Bill Schuette did. Let me give you a little analogy what Bill told me when I first met him. I talked about Bill a little bit on the show last time we were on about how I met him, which I will go into great detail the next show. Bill told me, Bob, he said, when I left home, my son was a half-year-old. When I came back, he was 7. Well, see, you don't make up for that. Bill has rebounded. Bill is a successful man, happily married, has children and grandchildren. We talked yesterday. He's watching tonight or listening tonight, and he'll be our guest next week. Mr. Bill Schuette, a POW in the Hanoi Hilton, and next week should be a gold mine of information. Now, this is an area I want to talk to Monica about next.
I wanted to tell you my Bill Schuette story, if I might.
You are going to?
Yes.
Yes.
Through you, I got contact with Bill Schuette, and when I was in Rolling Thunder, I asked Bill if he would please come and speak at a ride that we were having to benefit the ride home. And he said, you know, what am I going to talk about? I might have 5 or 10 minutes worth of stuff to talk about. And I said, it doesn't matter how long it is. Would you please honor us and please come? And everyone will just be honored to meet you. Come and speak. Well, 45 minutes later, he was still speaking. And if you looked out in the audience, not one person was bored. They were all sitting forward in their seats. They were all just in awe of everything that he had to say. Dynamic speaker, please tune in to the next show. You're going to enjoy Mr. Bill Schuette for sure.
Oh, yes. Well, see, Bill Schuette is one of those guys that's so engaging. He takes you with him. He takes you back in history with him. And he has a right, of course, to shut everything out. His privacy is what I always respected. And I've asked him some very hard questions, and he's talked to some students with great love and great understanding, because as Monica said before, a lot of people are interested in the POW issue, the MIA issue, but they don't know what to ask. They don't know if they're going to hurt your feelings. They don't know if they're asking too much. And I had the opportunity to speak at a breakfast of POW families a few years back, and you can't ever tell that group to, hey, come on, wake up. They're probably all dead. You never cross that bridge. Hope is eternal. And as you said before, Monica, when you talk to people like Bo and Bo's family, and I'm wearing a Bo bracelet tonight. I wear one every day.
Great. Every day.
Every day.
Wear them every day.
And I've talked about Bo, and I will talk about my granddaughter for a moment. She was sitting at the table with me last night, Tori, and I said to her, you were going to be on the show. I was telling her about different things, and she's 17 years old, and I said, now, what would you ask? What do you think about this issue? You've seen my bumper sticker. The POW flag is evident in my home, and the Vietnam conflict is part of my life. As you, of course, have said, this is a big deal in your life. And I said, what would you say? And she thought for a long time, and she goes, what will you tell the soldiers today that are going to serve our country if they find out that we had left men behind and don't bother going looking for them once they're out of harm's way and they're home safe and sound? Maybe they won't go anymore. Out of the mouths of babes.
Yes, and that's a very famous quote by George Washington. How the willingness for our young people to serve will be based on how they see the veterans respected.
Exactly.
Today.
Now, we have a couple more things to talk about tonight. And one of the things is the POW issue, the MIA issue, is so relevant in the schools today, and it's becoming so popular on college campuses. As Vietnam enters its 50th anniversary year, there are more people that for some reason, for years, took a lunch break. They weren't involved, and now they're looking and they're asking better questions. They're going back and doing research, and they're calling ncvvi.org. I got a call today. And with the internet, it's so wide open for people to ask questions, and then you can get back to them and build this network up. And Monica, you've been so involved with this group, and I heard a rumor that you're going to Vietnam in May.
Yes, I'm going to go with you guys.
The Bridgeback.
With the Bridgeback Foundation, and we're going to be building a playground for one of the orphanages there in Vietnam. I never thought that I would be actually going to Vietnam, but I think there seems to be such a tie because I dated guys that went to Vietnam. My cousin Richie was a medic in Vietnam. So many young men from our town went. Thank God the boys that went from my hometown came home. But some of them, not all of them, came home.
Well, a lot of them didn't come all the way back. As Bill mentioned earlier on the show, with PTSD, it's not that everyone has it, but everyone does. When you go away for a year and you fight for your country and serve for your country for freedom in a foreign land, you never come back the way you left. It's impossible. And we're so glad you're going back because I know it's been a kind of an unanswered question for you. You've dealt with Vietnam POWs, you dealt with the group, but you have to set foot in Vietnam. You have to walk on the dirt. And as I said before, I'm very fortunate being a Vietnam veteran and knowing people that are and were POWs. I've had a chance to talk to many of them, including Bill Judy, of course, and the late Lloyd Booker from the USS Pueblo. But I was talking about your comment you and Bill made earlier. Why in the world, Monica, do you think people will look down on a POW and say, why didn't you fight till you died, when the circumstances were they could not?
Ignorance.
Has to be.
And I think that's more the World War II mentality. Because, it was just fight, and we thought, and we were number one at that time. Sure. And it's just, that's the only thing that I can think of, because I just cannot imagine treating these fine heroes like that in this day and age.
A lot of men come back from war that were POWs for either a long or short period of time, and somehow they don't think they're veterans because they were flying over Vietnam, they were shot down, they landed in North Vietnam perhaps, or South, were taken to a prison camp, were kept there and then sent home. And so they never said, well, I'm not a Vietnam veteran, I was a casualty of the war. I think that's nitpicking. How could they not be a Vietnam or Korean veteran?
Ah, well, that's a good one. But I will also tell you, I served in peacetime. In my Navy years, I was in Norfolk, Virginia, and in Naples, Italy, and it was a peacetime. So I have problems sometimes, saying I'm a Vietnam era veteran. I am, but it seems like I'm trying to take a tag on something that I don't really own.
No, that's not true. Because we've talked before about a lot of men and women have come up to us in our workings around the country and our teachings and said, I wish I would have went. And I say, well, come here. First of all, you got to get rid of the guilt, okay? There was a draft going on then. There were so many factors. And as we teach the students and now the adults about Vietnam, there's so much about it. This country was having such growing pains then in the 60s. We all were searching for our identity, and all of us lost our innocence. Vietnam changed the world. It made us teach better. It made us be better everything. And, of course, it was costly. Because as you walk along the wall in D.C., you know what it cost our country. All of those men. But my question to you, and we're running a little close on time tonight, but I have a couple more questions for you, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Monica, with the missing in action, when do you tell this country and its armed forces to stop looking? When do we stop?
Well, we all know now that they're saying with the acidic soil in Vietnam that any chances to get remains we're under the 5-year mark now. Right. If we intend to get any remains back at all. As long as a family wants that closure, I imagine we have to look. But then there's that double-edged sword, all the money that we are spending searching for remains, and we have veterans right here in the United States now who are living homeless.
They need a lot of help.
It's a double-edged sword. However,
that's a good point.
You cannot disregard those family members who need that closure.
Well, part of the show next week, next time we come on with Bill Judy, and really the shows after this, there's a whole world of the POW research I haven't talked to you about yet. I want to talk to you about Hawaii. I want to talk to you about the DNA lab. I want to tell you how you can go. I want to talk to you about digs in Vietnam, where you can sign up with JPAC as a civilian, and you can go for 30 days to Vietnam, and you can sift through dirt. You can follow up intelligence reports. There are so many people now that in this country that want to do something they didn't do 40 years ago. I have got a whole avenue of things to do. And when Bill and I get back from Vietnam, after putting this playground in with the Bridgeback group, I believe Bill has mentioned, and so has our group, our next mission is to go on a dig. I don't know if we can spend 30 days in Vietnam, but we can try.
Let's go.
I like your shirt.
You like this shirt? Bring Bo home. We need to do this. We have one that we know, we have POW that we know is alive. You need to call your congressman, call your senators, contact your president, and say, bring Bo home. Thank you.
Now, as Bill mentioned, if you go to ncbvi.org, there's a chance for you to pick up, and I encourage you to do this, pick up through me, Bill, or Monica, a sticker of Bo Bergdahl. He is our poster child, of course. Pick up a bracelet that we all wear, bring Bo home, and one of our bracelets with the POWs from Vietnam. These are becoming popular nationwide. I believe Bill and I sold probably 200 of these in Texas to people there on our latest trip down to Nick Rowe High School. So we have a lot of avenues for you, and we're running a little short on time tonight. We had a lot of information tonight, and I want to thank Monica and, of course, Bill Dixon for a wonderful program tonight. And
Thank you for having me.
Well, you're more than welcome. And I want you to go on the site, if you will, and look at the work Bill Dixon did in the background. There's so much information on our POWs, what they've done in their life after being in captivity. And make a note. Stick it on the fridge. Next week, Mr. Bill Judy, a genuine American hero, be the star of the show. Any ending comments, Monica?
Well, hopefully we're going to be talking to Carrie Turner, who is the first cousin of Lance Corporal Joseph Hargrove from the Maguez incident. And he's written a book, Bringing Joseph Home. We're still looking for Joseph Hargrove. He did not come home with the 13 from the Maguez incident. Let's work on bringing Joseph home.
I think some more information that you may have got tonight, too, to look up after the show is a little thing called the incorrigibles.
Yes.
They're a very nice little tidbit to look up and check out things because history is so wonderful. You open a box, stuff keeps coming out. You keep asking questions. That's why we love to teach this course nationwide, because it's making everybody more involved. And as we say all the time, love your country and live with pride. And we'll keep going every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Till they all come home.
That has to be the slogan. And when that day will be, we'll probably never see it, but we can't stop trying.
That's right.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays, 9 a.m. till noon. Health In with Debbie Bruck, Mondays, 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays, 1 till 2 p.m. Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.